Despite having two of the league's best offensive duos in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, the Dallas Mavericks season has been extremely disappointing. Nonetheless, it seems that the Western Conference team is actively trying to salvage what remains of their disastrous season. So, join me as I discuss why the Mavericks are reportedly considering shutting down the Luka and Kyrie experiment. The Mavericks this season. The 2022-2023 season is no doubt a disappointing season for the Dallas Mavericks. From going 6-4 in the first 10 games, to going on a 7-game winning streak, to finishing the season with a 38-44 record and missing the playoffs, the Mavs season was a disaster. Besides that, knowing that they have the team's second leading scorer makes their failure even worse. In 66 games, Luka Doncic averaged 32.4 points on 49.6% shooting from the field. So, coming off a season in which they reached the Western Conference Finals before losing to eventual champions the Golden State Warriors, it was only natural to expect them to try and improve on that performance this season. But they even failed to make the playoffs. Besides that, the addition of 8-time NBA All-Star Kyrie Irving was supposed to guarantee one of the best offensive duos. But the experiment failed badly, leaving many NBA fans wondering whether their star point guard Luka Doncic is frustrated or not. But is Luka frustrated? Is Luka Doncic frustrated? Luka Doncic has established himself as one of the best point guards in NBA history in just 5 years. Coming from Europe, he was named Rookie of the Year in his first season, becoming the second European player to win the award after Pau Gasol and the 6th overall winner who was not born in the United States. At just 24 years old, Luka is already a top 10 leader in points, assists, and rebounds in Dallas Mavericks franchise history. Moreover, aside from Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain, Luka is the only other player in NBA history to have scored 800 points through their first 25 career playoff games. And despite his injury, Luka was outstanding in the 2022-2023 season, joining the impressive ranks of Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and LeBron James in scoring 7,000 points in less than 270 games since the merger. He ended the season with the highest point-per-game average for a Dallas Mavericks player in NBA history. In any case, Luka's season was exceptional in every way, but he still missed the playoffs, and many NBA fans and pundits have been quick to blame the star point guard. The majority of the criticism focused on his unexpected physique and lack of commitment to the Mavs' defense this season. Legendary Indiana Pacers shooting guard Reggie Miller explained that while Luka can't take all of the blame for the Mavericks' disastrous season, he shares a large portion of the blame because he needs to be in better shape, seeing as when he is on the court, the team can't play fast. However, amidst these criticisms, many news outlets are reporting that Luka is frustrated with the Mavs organization's build around him, as he believes the franchise needs to earn his loyalty to avoid him asking for a trade. But Luka has now come out to clarify that he is happy at the Mavs, as there is nothing to worry about. However, following his recent statement that he still misses his former point guard Jalen Brunson, there are questions about whether his stance will be maintained if things do not improve. And this begs the question, what is the point of having Kyrie Irving on the Mavericks' roster? Why Kyrie Irving was brought? Jalen Brunson leaving the Mavs for the New York Knicks meant Luka Doncic was forced to share the majority of offensive responsibilities. However, things worsened when Luka's injury crisis became persistent. In any case, Kyrie Irving, an 8-time NBA All-Star, was acquired in February. And to acquire Kyrie from the Brooklyn Nets, the Mavericks traded Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, an unprotected 2029 first-round pick, and 2027 and 2029 second-round picks. In his debut game, he recorded 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists in a win over the Los Angeles Clippers. Later in the season, he and Luka scored 40 points each against the Philadelphia 76ers, marking the first time in Dallas franchise history that two players scored 40 points in the same game. Nonetheless, in 20 games for the Mavericks this season, Kyrie averaged 27 points on 51% shooting from the field, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. However, one thing is clear. Kyrie's offensive arsenal is massive, but failing to make the playoffs while the Brooklyn Nets managed to make it feel like Kyrie never did what he was brought to do. The Kyrie-Luka partnership finished the season with a 7-19 record, the 5th worst in the NBA. But the Dallas Mavericks' offensive rating improved from 9th to 6th after the trade. Unfortunately, a lot of the blame can't be placed on Kyrie because he provided more offensively, and besides, he had a series of injuries. But in any case, the 8-time All-Star shares some of the blame because his deal ensured that the pieces Dallas gave up only amplified Doncic's slow-grade defensive ability. But again, it wasn't his fault. It was the fault of the team's management, who let go of some of the defensive pieces and didn't provide any more offensive support to the Mavs' already predictable offense. Take the loss against the Charlotte Hornets, for example. Doncic and Irving put up a combined 29 first-half points in Sunday's loss, while the other starters like Reggie Bullock, Josh Green, and Dwight Powell didn't score a single point over that time. And so yeah, bringing Kyrie to the Mavs might have been disappointing, but he hasn't been entirely bad, and the Mavs' performance isn't his fault either. Luka's failed experiments. It's no secret that the Mavericks want to build around Luka Doncic, which is why they signed Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets. However, this experiment has been disappointing, not only because they missed the playoffs, but also because of how the team appears to be structured. The team's defensive rating has fallen from 22nd to 25th since signing Kyrie. As mentioned earlier, Kyrie's offensive arsenal is packed, but his defense has deteriorated over time. And given that the Mavericks already had a defensive liability in Luka, they should have been more cautious in their trade deadline moves. The Mavericks are excruciatingly weak at their power positions because their big men are either inactive in the paint or spend their time spreading the floor waiting on Luka. Either way, there's no size advantage anywhere on the roster. And the closest thing they had to a decent defender, Finney Smith, was traded for Kyrie. And to make matters worse, they traded him and Spencer Dinwiddie for a star who is only a few months away from unrestricted free agency. However, this failed Luka experiment is now becoming a trend with the Mavs organization, which is concerning. First, they had big man Kristaps Porzingis to support Luka, but the duo failed to live up to expectations. They did show flashes of brilliance together, but they were never a dominant duo as the duo went to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons, but they were eliminated in early first-round exits. After Porzingis, they had Jalen Brunson, who had been the most successful experiment with Luka Doncic so far, but he was let go to the New York Knicks after the Mavericks refused to pay him to resign in free agency. But Jalen Brunson has gone on to lead the Knicks to the playoffs and is a finalist for the Most Improved Player award. And with Kyrie signing instead, the organization has neither the team's cap space nor assets to strengthen the roster. And as a result, this team appears doomed to fail. But in a surprising turn of events, it appears the team has a trick up its sleeve. What is it, you might think? Why is the Mavs considering shutting down Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving? With 2 games remaining and a chance to make the play-in tournament, the Mavericks rested Kyrie and limited Luka to just the first quarter in a loss to the Chicago Bulls. Both Kyrie and Luka were displeased with the Mavericks' decision to rest them for both games, along with starters Christian Wood, Maxi Kleber, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Josh Green. Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd explained that sitting their starters out of the must-win games was an organizational decision. In any case, it has been revealed that the team's decision to shut down the Kyrie and Luka experiment in the final 2 games of the season was made to keep a first-round pick that would otherwise go to the New York Knicks as part of the Dallas' 2019 trade for Kristaps Porzingis. The Dallas Mavericks owe the New York Knicks first-round draft picks this year as part of the Kristaps Porzingis trade. And since they failed to make the play-in tournament, they are very much likely to keep their first-round pick in this summer's draft. In any case, an NBA investigation into the Mavericks' decision to suspend both Luka and Kyrie's experiment early revealed that they violated the league's players' resting policy and demonstrated a desire to lose the game in order to keep their first-round pick in the 2023 NBA draft. And as such, the team was fined $750,000 for its actions. In any case, it is unknown how the Mavericks will structure themselves next season if Kyrie is retained in the offseason. One thing is certain, they have one of the best offensive duos in the league in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Dallas Mavericks season? Do you believe the Luka-Kyrie experiment should be aborted as soon as possible? Let me know in the comment section.